Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Monday, March 28th, 2022. Here's what's going on right now. There are two things spooking the market a little bit this morning. What do I mean by spooking? There is a clear safety trade going on. Let's talk about what I mean. We have the 10-year yield down a little bit, 2.44, but the dollar markedly higher this morning. The relative strength of the dollar is markedly higher. Stock futures are flat to slightly in the negative. Okay, why? What's driving this? Well, I think number one, it's this announcement by Russia that they are about to move on to a new phase or a second phase or whatever freaking phase with regard to the war. Now, that's spooking the market. The market's like, okay, what do they mean by a new phase? All right, I guess we're all going to find out. Number two, there's all this talk this morning, Bloomberg, Fox Business, CNBC. I mean, I'm laughing. You can't make this stuff up. The propaganda ministry, okay, they are trying to figure out how the Federal Reserve got inflation so wrong and why the Federal Reserve is so far behind the curve. First of all, the Federal Reserve is the curve. You know that. They dictate monetary policy and everything follows behind it. Nothing that the Federal Reserve has done, you know this, is by accident. They are deliberately fueling inflation. All right. I can't believe that they can pay these freaks enough on the mainstream channels to lie like that. Do they really, honestly think that the Fed is behind the curve? The Fed didn't see this happening? They didn't know that inflation was going to surge out of control like it is? Of course they did. You knew it and I knew it from years ago. I'm laughing again. It's too asinine to me, but that's it. Look, it's the propaganda, it's the lies, the misinformation, the look over here, don't look over here. It's absolutely out of control. But I suppose that's what the propaganda ministries are supposed to do. Lie, distract, deflect. The fact of the matter is, people, we haven't seen anything yet with regard to inflating prices around the world. Central banks continue their mission to inflate, to deliberately create inflation, to foster a whole new set of rules, a new paradigm, like I've been telling you for years, and a new feudal system. Period. That is all. All right. Let's go back to this market real quick. So as I said, there is a safety trade going on. We'll see if this leads to a fear trade, meaning will stocks fall today? Now, I've been explaining to you, stocks have gone pretty much straight up off of the recent low. The market has been in a corrective phase since the end of last year after going straight up for years, all this panic and this is that, the market got to crash. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You can't do it, but that's what people are doing, I suppose. So, yes, the market needs to drop a little bit. Will we actually finally get a little bit of a pullback after coming straight up off of the lows recently? I don't know. We've gone like, out of the last 8 trading days, I think we've had 2 slightly down days. It's not normal. Let us move forward. I already explained to you about the 10-year yield, the dollar. Crude oil right now is under some pressure. It's about 108, 109. Okay, that's actually not a bad spot for the market to be, although there is some fear. There is fear here. There is a safety trade going on. Bitcoin over 47,000 and going much, much higher. So just get ready for that. Cryptos in aggregate are all going much higher. The big ones are all going much higher. Gold and silver right now are under some pressure. And why is that? Well, it's the relative strength of the dollar. That we're seeing a pretty big move higher. See, people don't understand the currency markets. When you see the relative strength of the dollar jump 0.5%, that's actually a big move. Up or down, But so this is a kind of a big move here. Again, clear safety trade. You all know that. What I want to know from you is, do you believe that CNBC, Fox Business, Bloomberg, whatever, do they really believe the stuff that they say, or is it just all dog shit, upside down, backwards, and sideways? I mean, some of these people seem sincere. Why? Why is the Federal Reserve so far behind the curve? How did they miss inflation so badly? It's like they believe that this institution is actually working for them. Absolutely not. Central banks collectively, I mean, this is no secret to you or anyone that follows this blog. They are sincerely on a mission to take over everything here. They are the actual government of the world. We have a one world government today, people. You all know that. It is the central banks. You and me, we have no representation anymore. It's all a freaking free-for-all, and they're trying, literally, deliberately, to eliminate an entire class of people globally. And people are sitting back. They're just allowing this to happen. And I think it's pretty much out of control. Anyway, all right, people, look, with that said, that's the story this morning. It's pretty simple. We got a clear safety trade. Let's see if this plays out to a fear trade. If this is a fear trade, and we see, for example, the stock market take a little bit of a hit today. I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but the setup is there, all right? Unless, who knows what they're going to do. They might float out a Fed president to whatever they got to do. They always do this. But if, in fact, this market does drop today, tomorrow, whatever, we're going to get, eventually, I would imagine, some kind of a correction here. I'm not talking about anything major, like a 5%, 6% pullback. Your eyeballs immediately should go over to the 10-year yield. If it's dropping, what does that mean? Cash is leaving the stock market, making its way into the debt market, fear trade, and that would be a clear buying opportunity. If, in fact, we see the opposite happen, let's say the 10-year yield spikes, 2.5%, 3%, 3.5%, 4%, boom, 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 boom. Well, then that's a clear sign to get out of the market. It's really that easy. Okay, we're watching one thing, the 10-year yield. And yes, the whole curve is important. I understand that. And all the talk about inversions in the curve and the flattening curve, people, look. I mean, you know what this is already. We have an economy in free fall with no end in sight. No end in sight is going to get a lot worse. And in my opinion, the faster the economy craters, as it's been doing for years, okay, the higher the market's going to go. And this mechanism is in place to keep fueling the debt bubble. And being that the market, the stock market, is a derivative of that, well, you understand what's going on. And with the absolute strength of the dollar and other fiat currencies literally evaporating, what do you expect to happen? What do you expect to happen? You really think the market's going to crash? No, it is going to crash, but not now, not until we get that spike in the 10-year yield. Until that time, you and me will take advantage of everything that comes our way. That means if the market drops, we continue to buy the dips, okay? Large cap dividend paying stocks. I got it all laid out for you right here on my website. You need exposure to commodities, oil and gas companies. These are things you need to do. At the same time, betting against the debt, becoming your own central bank, take advantage of the dips in precious metals, and look at cryptos, people. They're going much higher. I really hope you understand where we're going with all this here. And you haven't seen anything like I've explained to you. With regard to cryptocurrencies and precious metals and commodities in general, we are going to see these assets, I'm laughing again, skyrocket at the moment of the debt market implosion. And I want you to have some exposure to this. And I'm not telling you to be all in on anything, okay? I just think you obviously need physical metals in your portfolio. I mean, that should be a no-brainer. With regard to cryptocurrencies, people, how much would it hurt you, really, to have some exposure to this stuff? It's, to me, that's a no-brainer, too. All right, look, I'm out of here. Love all of you. What do you think about this video? What do you think about the freak show pushing the propaganda?
How is the Fed so far behind the curve? How did they get it so wrong?
Make it up. Make it freaking up. I'll see you later.